Hello! This particular show is going to be about fantasy television series. In this one, I'm going to cover my top 20 must watch shows. And I'm going to do it like a countdown in reverse order. So I'm going to start at the bottom of the list and go up. I think that's something people like to see. Anyway, at the bottom of the list, there's a trilogy of series. They're basically a mini series, and together they kind of make 3 seasons of a show. And these ones are 18, 19, and 20 for seasons 1, 2, and 3. The seasons are The White Queen, The White Princess, and The Spanish Princess. These are these are Starz series developed by Starz, and they are they deal a little less with the fantasy and a little more with the political intrigue of the courts. However, the White Queen becomes a princess using her eldritch power, her witchcraft or sorcery or whatever you want to call it. It's a small point it's a small part of the actual show, but I think it qualifies this as a fantasy show. The Tudors not so much. This is fantasy. Um the White Queen is the starting of it. It deals with basically the mom, the progenitor of the line, and getting into position as a queen. The White Princess deals with her daughter, etc., etc., down the line to the Spanish Princess. There's a lot of talent in these shows. The White Queen stars Rebecca Ferguson. The White Princess stars the actress who plays the villain in Killing Eve, which is an amazing show, and she's great in that. The Spanish Princess, I'm not sure what the name of the person who stars in that one is or where I've seen her before, but I've seen her in a lot of stuff, and she's good. There's a lot of recognizable names and a lot of recognizable talent in these shows. I think they're worth a watch. You can find them in Canada. You can find them on Crave when you add the Stars edition. You can also, I think in America, you can find them on Prime if you add Stars. You can also do that in Canada too. And I believe if you just get Stars, I think Stars has its own channel in the United States. You can watch them there because they're Stars programs, so that's the simplest way to see them. All right, so that's the White Queen is 18, the White Princess is 19, and the Spanish Princess is 20 on my list. Number 17 on my list is a show called Siren. This is a freeform show that is really well done. It is. I'm not sure where you can where you can actually stream this in Canada, but you can buy it on Google Play Movies and TV and watch it on YouTube after you've paid for it. It's worth it. This is a really good show. There are 3 seasons so far, and it doesn't star. It stars faces I recognize, but not names that I know. The show is about mermaids, which is why it's a fantasy show. It deals with mermaids, and it deals with their interactions with the humans in a particular seaside town. A lot of history that they deal with. I mean, none of it's real, of course, but the if you go back in the past, they touch upon what happened in the past in this show, and it's one of the reasons why they when these people first meet these mermaids in this time, there's some animosity there between the two. The show, the like I said, they're not exactly, they're not people whose names I might be able to know off the top of my head, but their faces, there are some faces I recognize, and everyone's got to start somewhere. These people have talent. They really bring this show to life. It's definitely worth watching, and I think you can probably get the first season for like, it's basically each season costs about $20. It's expensive, but I think it's worth it. The next show, number 16 on the list, is The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Seems like a silly choice. It's basically a teen drama show, but it's reasonably hardcore. Like they touch on some serious subject matter, and I think they handle it very well. It's brilliantly played by everyone in it. And it's very likable. The main character, the person who plays Sabrina, such a likable individual. She's just neat. the actual effects and the writing, it's top-notch fantasy. Like it deals with devils and demons and all this kind of stuff, and it's very engaging. Really draws you in. Like, I think there's been 3 or 4 seasons of this, and I've watched everyone, gobbled them up. Like I binge these ones as soon as they come out. I'm binging them. Like, done in a night. I can't turn them off. It's worth watching. Give it a shot. I mean, it sounds like, I mean, it's teen. If you're not into teen drama, then maybe you're not into this. But I've never grown up, so for me, it works. The next one in the list, number 15, is Being Human. This you can find on Prime. And you can find both of them on Prime. There's an American version and a British version. My preference is the British version, but the American version is still good. It's the same thing, but done in America. Same similar characters, similar design to the show, just positioned so that you can see it closer to home. So it makes obviously it may make it a little bit more palatable for you. Either one are excellent. Make your choice. It deals with a group of people that decide to become flatmates, and one is a werewolf, one is a vampire, and one is a ghost. And yes, that sounds funny. And there's some seriously funny stuff that happens as a result. However, the drama in underneath it all is phenomenal. Like, it's really well written. Both of them are. And the American one stars Sam Witwer, the voice of the Emperor in a lot of Star Wars stuff. I like that guy. He's also the guy who played in The Force Unleashed. Yeah, so you'll recognize that face. Talented dude. You'll also recognize the faces of some of the people that the ones in the British show. Top-notch talent. Top-notch talent in both cases. Totally worth checking out. You can watch it on Prime in Canada, and I'm sure that you can watch it on Prime in America as well. Chances are, if you can see something on Prime or Netflix in Canada, then it's generally available in the States for the same grouping. Number 14 on my list is Angel. This is the Buffy the Vampire Slayer spin-off. Angel is a really good show. There's 5 seasons, and I'm not sure where you can stream it, but you can buy it on Google Play. I think it's $60 for like $60 Canadian to buy all 5 seasons. I own these on DVD. That's how I watch them, and I can tell you, it's something I throw in probably once a year. It's just great. It's so entertaining. Great characters throughout. They have Amy Acker is in the last 3 seasons, I think, and she's just awesome. She plays a character called Winifred Burkle, one of my favorite characters on television ever. Just awesome. This is definitely worth checking out, especially if you like Buffy and you've never seen this. I mean, honestly, if you like Buffy, you've probably seen this. And if you're old enough to actually have watched it on TV, then you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen this, these are, I think the first season of Angel came out in 1999, so it's a bit of a throwback, but it's very entertaining. It's totally worth it, and you'll be able to watch when cell phones actually happen, because not everyone has one in the start. By the end, they all do. Definitely worth checking out. Give it a shot. Number 13 on the list is Supernatural. Supernatural is still on TV. This is the 16th season. That is incredible. It's a great show. The reason it went so long is because it is honestly top notch. Hugely humorous. Excellent characters. Even the characters that are only in for like a few episodes a season, or they're all amazing. This is written by Eric Kripke, who's the guy who wrote The Boys. Yeah, it's good. It's totally worth seeing. Give this a shot. There's so much going on in this, and the story progresses. The initial first 5 seasons all tell the story of the two brothers coming up to a point. From there, when they actually ended, I think they thought they were going to end the series at 5 seasons, but it was still so good. They just kept going. More stories, more stories, more stories. It's engaging every time you watch it. They do some really comical stuff, some really out of the box thinking in this show. It's definitely worth checking out. Number 12 is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Oh, sorry, Supernatural can be streamed on Prime. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, that can be streamed on Prime as well. At least in Canada, and I'm pretty sure in the States as well. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is where Angel came from. And it's still to this day one of my favorite TV shows. Not to mention, not just fantasy TV, it's one of my favorite TV shows. Joss Whedon is brilliant. The guy writes dialogue that will have you falling out of your chair laughing. And honestly, the way they work some of the relationships and such in this, very, very engaging, and you'll grow to love the characters in it. All of them. This is that's something you gotta see. The next one, number 11 on my list, is The OA. This is a Netflix show. It's a very complicated show to watch, but if you push through, I think it's phenomenal. It's high thought. A lot of what you're watching will have you thinking. Will have your mind going, "Whoa, what's going on here?" And you'll come out thinking of things a little differently. Something that can change the way you think, like a television show like this that can change the way you might think. That's impressive. There's some power there. Worth looking into. Um, the the writing is phenomenal. The acting is excellent, and the cinematography is really profound. Like, this is something to see. And again, the complicated nature of what you're watching will have you either really confused, but if you stick it out, it can expand your mind. It's totally worth checking out. Um, Number 10 on my list is Lucifer. This is available on Netflix, and the second half of season 5 should be coming out soon. This is a phenomenal show. And for one main reason, the main character, the guy who plays Lucifer, is so incredibly likable. He's awesome. And he's the devil, which is kind of weird. A lot of times the angels that are in it are kind of annoying, actually, which funny. The entire cast of characters in this, I especially love the counterpart to Lucifer, his love interest. Her daughter is awesome. She's such a great little kid. The kid is just so amazing. In the first few episodes, in the first few seasons, she's so tiny and just so rambunctious. She's awesome. And the father of that kid is also in the show, and well, not the birth father, but the father of the actual. The father in the show is someone the main character works with. Still. The main character's love interest works with. The cast is just amazing. The humor is excellent. It will have you laughing. But there's also, it's a police procedural behind the fantasy. And that police procedural, they do a decent job. It's actually a decent police show. It's totally worth watching. Even if you like police shows, this is one of those, but with a fantasy bent. Pretty cool thinking. Genre smashing. It works in this case. Number 9 on my list is Carnival. Carnival is an HBO show. In Canada, you can watch it on Crave plus HBO plus Movies, which is basically HBO Max Canada. And of course, you can also just watch it on HBO. If you have any of the HBO applications in the United States, you can watch this show. Carnival deals with it basically deals with the fantasy elements are all not unlike Lucifer. They're all Christian in origin. It deals with demons and angels and that kind of thing. But it also deals with circus freaks. It throws that in, and you've got a lot of interesting relationships as a result. The scenery and the characters are very engaging. Like it's a unique bent, and honestly, carnivals are always a fairly unique setting for you've got the wandering sort of nomad type lifestyle. It's the only way that you have that in America. These are those people. These are the only people that do that. They're basically America's Romani. It's a good show, and I think it's honestly worth checking out. I believe that you can glean quite a bit from this, and it's entertaining. And plus, it's an HBO show. Generally, you don't really need to say HBO made a good show. How surprising! Not really. Number 8 on my list is Stranger Things. You've heard of Stranger Things unless you're deaf or blind, or just you don't like being entertained. Stranger Things is a Netflix show, and it is phenomenal. It is. I think there's 4 seasons. I think they might be making a 5th, or is it only 3 seasons and they're making a 4th? They've been making it for a really long time. Not sure what's going on there. Probably the epidemic or the pandemic that's causing that. Anyway, the fantasy bent on this deals with psychic abilities and the dimensional planes. It deals with them in a very unique way, which I think is one of the reasons why it became so popular. Not to mention the fact that the cast of kids that are in this are just hilarious. They're great. They do such a wonderful job. I mean, I don't need to go in too much into depth on Stranger Things. I think that one speaks for itself. Number 7 on my list is Carnival Row. Carnival Row is available on Prime, and it deals with an alternate reality where fairies and humans live side by side, but in conflict. The performances in this show are top notch. It stars I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Yeah, unfortunately my blood sugar is a little low, so I'm having trouble remembering his name. He's one of the cast of characters in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. The dude is an amazing actor, and he totally knocks it out of the park in this show. It's gritty. It's oddly enough, for a fantasy show, it's rather down to earth. It deals with a lot of situations. I mean, it basically deals with racial strife. Fairies are not human, so there's a species strife there. So, I mean, that's an even larger line, right? They handle it brilliantly. Brilliantly. The writing is phenomenal. There's only 1 season, but it is totally worth checking out. I'm thinking they're going to make a 2nd season. It's an Amazon show, and it's really good. I believe it has a following, like enough of a base of watchers to actually allow them to push forward with a 2nd season. I can't wait. The fact that I don't know when it's going to come out, that it's freaking me out, because I really want to see this. Cara Delevingne plays alongside the other star that I mentioned, whose name I can't remember. Anyway, you may remember her from the Suicide Squad and the silly dance that she does, but the truth of the matter is she's a very talented actress. She's actually got skills. And she totally brings it in this. Like, there's passion in what she's putting forth. There's, like, she delivers the pain that her character has in a magnificent way. It's a very good show. I would recommend watching it. I mean, we're starting to get into the ones that are like real must-sees. But by the same token, we're starting to get into ones you probably heard of. The 6th in my list is called A Discovery of Witches. This you may not have heard of, because I hadn't heard of it until recently. You can watch this on Prime if you purchase either Shudder or Sundance Now as an addition to Prime. You can also purchase this on iTunes, I bought the season for $10 Canadian. That's not very much money. 8 episodes to the season. There's only one season so far. The first season is 8 episodes, and I'm telling you, it's ridiculously engaging. This is one of those ones that deals with witches, vampires, and demons. That's how that's the fantasy elements within this. Um, Not unlike Penny Dreadful. However, they take an interesting bent on it, and the storyline that's it's very well written. It's based on a trilogy of novels, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and again, it's top talent. The talent is they're bringing to life these characters in a way that makes you really want to engage with them, like to keep watching. I binged this in one night. It's just that good. I couldn't stop watching it. Number 5 on my list is Penny Dreadful. Penny Dreadful stars Eva Green, who is I'm not even sure she's real. She's so awesome. It's ridiculous. It stars actually the cast is big. They I mean, I think Timothy Dalton is in this. I believe that's his name. And they do such a phenomenal job of bringing this to life. And Penny Dreadful has a very gothic sensibility. Again, vampires, witches, vampires, werewolves. There's Frankenstein's in it. It deals with all that. Excuse me. It deals with all the classic monster tropes from the past. It's set in like the 1800s or like the late 1800s, early 1900s, that kind of time frame. And it deals with the classic monster tropes in such a vivid, gritty, hardcore fashion that there's only 3 seasons to it, so it doesn't take too long to get through. But it's one that I would watch repetitively. This is one of those once a year things, like it's time to watch Penny Dreadful, that kind of thing. It's phenomenally well written. It's brilliantly played, and it's very unique. Vampires. They deal with the vampires in a slightly different manner than most people do, but the actual storytelling is it's just I've never seen something like this before. I really love it. It's you need to see this. If you like this kind of stuff, if you're into fantasy, this is a must watch. Number 4 on my list is American Gods. Oh, sorry. Penny Dreadful is available on Crave plus Stars. You can probably get it on Amazon Prime plus Stars because Penny Dreadful is a reasonably old show. I'm figuring they're probably on both. Or you can get it if you're in America, you can just get Stars, and then you can watch Penny Dreadful. American Gods is available in Canada. It's available on Prime. This show is ridiculously unique in that it deals with higher concepts of how God and man interacts, how the gods and men interact, and where they come from, and how they were created, and like it doesn't really define any of those things, but it gets you thinking about, did we make the gods? That kind of thing. Like it's very uniquely written, on a novel called American Gods, and brilliantly brought to life. There's a lot of really unique cinematography in this that makes you kind of go. It honestly makes you kind of have to watch each episode twice, because you're not sure I wasn't sure I got everything from the episode, but I was so intrigued I needed to make sure that I got everything from the episode. That's how good this was. There's a lot in it. The acting is great. I mean, Ian McKellen. Not Ian McKellen. Ian McShane. Sorry. Wrong Ian. Ian McShane is in this, and he totally brings it as Wednesday. It's phenomenal. You'll recognize a lot of the people in it if you've ever watched the 100. You'll recognize the main character. Ian McShane he's in a lot of stuff, and he's always top notch when he's there. This is a must watch. These are all must watch. This is my must watch list, but yeah, this. I think if you leave this one aside, you're missing out. Number 3 on my list is one that everyone knows. It's Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is it honestly, it surpasses words. It's that good. So well played, so many people in it, and so brilliantly well put together. Oddly enough, I've read many of the novels, but I have trouble getting through them. They're very long, and they're kind of slow. What I like about the Game of Thrones TV show is that it covers most of what's in the books, but they don't need to put in so much detail. Like there's no, you don't need like 1,000 words to give you the details, because you can show the image. Which means each season is a book, and each book, while the book is 1,000 pages and might take you 3 weeks to read, it only takes 10 hours to watch one season of Game of Thrones. That's one of the reasons why I think this show had such a huge fan base. I mean, I think this one gets what? I think only the Super Bowl and the Academy Awards are shows that gets watched more than this did. Game of Thrones is available in Canada on Crave plus HBO plus Movies, which again is the Canadian version of HBO Max. HBO Max does not exist in Canada, but if you buy Crave and you add HBO plus Movies, that's HBO Max Canada. In America, it's obviously available on HBO, and many of I think there's dozens of offshoots, and you can also get it on HBO Max. It is a must-see. If you've never seen Game of Thrones and you like fantasy, check it out. The only caveat to that is that don't get too attached to the characters, because they don't always last. And I'm sure you've heard that. Anyway, number 2 on my list is His Dark Materials. His Dark Materials is based on the Philip Pullman books, and this has been brought to life. There's a movie version of the first book called The Golden Compass. That's what the first book is also called. It's called The Golden Compass. The movie was decent, but a 300-page book has so much more detail, so much more nuance to it, just in the nature of how the story is told. They got to delve into it using this 8-episode arc for the first book. And they put so much in here. And yes, I rank His Dark Materials above Game of Thrones. This show blew me away. I love those books. They're phenomenal. And I think I read those books I think I read them, all 3 of them, in like a week. I couldn't put them down. This show, you binge it in a moment. I cannot wait for the second season, and I hope I'm seriously hoping they do all 3. I love this show. It stars so many people you know. It stars I can't remember her actual name, but she was in Logan. She played X-23, Laura, and she is a phenomenal actress. She's totally nailed this part, and there's some serious nuance to this character. It's a brilliant performance, and I'm pretty sure, like, I wouldn't be surprised if she got nominated for an Emmy for it. She deserved it. I wouldn't be surprised if the show got nominated for an Emmy. This is one of my favorite shows. I love this show. It's definitely worth checking out. If you have not heard of it, or you haven't actually seen it yet, get on it. Top-notch fantasy. It takes you to another world. Another Earth. It's awesome. Number 1 on my list, as I think the one you most have to watch if you're a fantasy fan, is The Witcher. Season 1 of The Witcher on Netflix. It's available on Netflix everywhere, because they made it. Season 1 of The Witcher on Netflix is so well written and so well performed that it really makes you think. There's a lot of people in it, and they've all got some sort of issue. And I think that the writers managed to actually put a lot of adventure and action and all this stuff in this show, but they still allow you to actually perceive the nuance of the individual characters and what they're going through, what drives them to do what they do, so well. The performances bring that up to, like, it goes to 11. It's one loud, ain't it? You need to see this show. If you have not actually taken the time to watch it and you're a fan of fantasy, you need to watch The Witcher. It's ridiculously good. That is my list, and I'm going to show you the list. This is the list. Give these a shot if you haven't seen. If there's any of them on there that you haven't seen, give them a shot. I think you won't be let down. If you're a fan of fantasy, I think these ones will probably tickle your interests. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye.